So, you nerds, what the hell happened to the anti-work Reddit? So, if some of you guys don't know, the anti-work Reddit page is a Reddit page on Reddit, which basically complains about your boss, tells quitting stories, talks about how work isn't the center of your life. Different people have on there, of course, have different opinions about work. Some people are completely against work. Other people are just use it to complain about their boss. And 50% of it is just people making up fake stories on the internet at how they quit with their boss, but that didn't really happen. And they're just doing power fantasies on the internet. But everything I'm saying right now was because after the interview we're about to watch, apparently this Reddit page went private. We'll watch the interview and then we'll look at the drama as to why the subreddit is now burning and on fucking fire, apparently. The mod of the anti-work is NB and autistic. Got you. Okay, let's watch it. Wait, so they say this person operates it. To be clear, this person is just a mod. They're not the owner, correct? They are the head mod. Okay, got it. So they do operate.
All right, so Doreen, why do you like the idea of being home, not working?
Oh, by the way, who told this guy on the left? Who told Fox News about anti-work? Who was the guy who told them? I really want to know, at what meeting somebody brought up this Reddit page.
But still getting paid by corporate America.
Yeah, so there's some misconceptions about the movement. So we're a movement where we want to reduce the amount of work that people feel like they're forced to do. And so we want to still put in effort. We want to put in labor.
I think it's cool to have Reddit pages where workers can express concerns about labor and complain about their bosses and show stories where they, took on their. I think that stuff is cool. I think it's some dope class consciousness, etc., whatever, right? Okay, just saying it as a pretext. Not everything about anti-work. There's a lot of people on anti-work that I think are silly, and there's a lot of people telling obviously fake stories, but just as a concept, So I'm going to this 100% blind, outside of my knowledge of what the subreddit is.
Be in a position where we feel trapped. You just quoted from Office Space, where that person feels very trapped in their job. I think we're calling for a society where there's less of that. But yeah, absolutely, people still want to do things. They just want to do things where they feel rewarded and they feel like they're in a good spot in their life, and that their job respects them and stuff like that. There's varying.
So Doreen, but you're not being forced to work. This isn't slave labor. You've applied for a job. You've agreed to the terms and conditions of the employment, and you can walk away from that job at any time and quit. So I don't understand really what this is about, except it sounds like maybe people are just being lazy. Are you encouraging people to be lazy?
So I think laziness is a virtue in a society where people constantly want you to be productive 24/7, and it's good to have rest. That doesn't mean you should be resting all the time or not putting effort into things that you care about. But I think one of the
what do you think is a good work day? How many hours is a solid work day in your ideal society?
Sure. I mean, I think as much as people want. I mean, I personally work. I have a 20, 25-hour work weeks, which I think is fairly good. So I would like less work hours.
And what do you do, Doreen?
I'm a dog walker.
A dog walker. Okay.
Yes.
And
so
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure, I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay. And is there something you want to do besides being a dog walker? Do you aspire to do anything more than dog walking, or is that kind of your pinnacle?
Oh, dude. Okay. So what this guy on the left is doing is super classist and pretty scummy when it's is that what you are? You're a dog walker, right? Is that what you do? But he's doing it so silently that you can't really call it out. It's pretty obvious what he's doing.
I love working with dogs. If I had to do this for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be super complaining. Dogs are wonderful animals. But I would love to teach. I would love to, work with people and stuff like that.
What would you teach, Doreen?
Philosophy mostly. Just introduction to philosophy, critical thinking, reason, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I would love to take your class, Doreen. I would just be taking notes the whole time. And you know what? A professor is a very similar schedule than something that you're imagining. So I think that actually might work perfectly for you. Listen, I think this might not be the greatest idea, but who am I to judge? To each their own, they say. It's a free country.
Sure.
Not everything's free, but it is a free country. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We got to run. We got to pay the bills.
Okay, so I'm gonna break down everything that went wrong with this interview, okay, before we move on to everything else, okay? First thing that went wrong, okay? They sent somebody, and I'm gonna be blatantly honest here. Maybe somebody can move me off of this, because maybe I'm wrong, but they sent somebody that fulfilled every single stereotype that a right-wing couch potato, okay, watching Fox News in the middle of the day, beer in hand, at the end of a hard work day. It's Fox News is on. Oh, what's this anti-work stuff? You know, I love unions and workers' rights. I mean, I grew up on the union. What's this? Oh, this person who works 20 hours a week, not like me, I work 40 hours a week, talking about all these other people who don't want to work while we're working hard, and boom. They fulfilled every single stereotype you could possibly think of when you think of the entitled left-winger who doesn't want to work and just wants everything handed to them. The second thing is the person from Antiwork let the commentator define the whole discussion. They didn't propose any questions to the commentator. They didn't really push back on anything. They just let them paint them in that picture and didn't have anything to push back upon, except like we would like a shorter work week. Fox asked for that person. Honestly, if Fox requested that person, then they probably shouldn't have done the interview. It is better if you see something's being set up to not go than participate, even if it looks like you're dodging. And they could have said, look, that person isn't available for X, Y, and Z reason. We can send a different mod though. That could be something you say. And if they say no, then you know there's something up and you just keep moving. Maybe you could call this reporting from Fox News lazy, in fact. Wait, Antiwork mods agreed none of them would do interviews, and they went behind everyone after Fox contacted. Wait, really? Is that true? That's terrible if that's true. Really? Can somebody send me a source on that? Okay, this is what we'll do. We'll go through the mega thread, okay? We're being talked about on Fox News with 69,000.4 likes. Screenshot of discussion between mods who would do the interview. Need to actually look at the camera. I have a tough time with that being autistic. Did you decide that you were the best person to represent this? Okay, so they didn't go behind their back as if they talked about it. They just didn't tell them. Did you all decide you were the best person to represent the subreddit on Fox News? If so, this might have been slightly misguided, no offense. The interview offer was given to the mods via mod mail, and they specifically asked for me. I shared that with the other mods, and they all agreed that I'm probably the best to do it because I've done other media. Wait. Okay, so they did discuss it. Okay. Then the Fox News interview, then screenshots 1. Oh my God, there's so much here. What is going on? Update regarding the BNSF. Sorry doesn't cut it. Mods are not leaders of the subs. Posting again as it was taken down. Mods need to stop removing Fox News posts. This is the wrong form of damage control and is an even worse look for the sub. You are actively harming your community and is telling the mods are currently only looking to save face, not the community. If the Fox News interview has you concerned about anti-work, then congratulations. You now know how it feels to be weaponized against your allies. Sorry doesn't cut it. Mods are not leaders of the subs. Moderation teams are not content creators, are not developers of a video game, and are not authors of some book that we're reading. You have no power here. You can modify comments, you can delete comments, you can delete threads, and that is the extent of the power you hold as a moderator. That is not said to attack you, but is said to remind you that you have no influence over the sub. And if you are having influence over the sub, then there's something immensely wrong. My post had 2.5k upvotes, broke no rules, and I was just banned. Can't even reply to you. Banned, banned, banned. It looks like all these people are just getting banned. r/work reform has been made as an alternative. Huh. Jesus. Okay, so the community's pissed because the reaction to it has not been great, it looks like. What is going on? Okay, let's go look at some of the responses. So the mods are just in complete damage control mode. The interview was so embarrassing, it made me go back to work. Turns out the true anti-work was the friends we made along the way. It was ridiculous, so much damage to the sub's image. That mod should be removed and banned from this sub. Fuck, I may actually apply to be a slave. I find it incredibly ironic that the mods are acting like the employers that we call out on a daily basis here. If the mods want any sort of damage control or any sort of accountability to fix the enormous damage that was done on the subreddit, it needs to be removed as a mod ASAP, and a post or many posts made saying they do not represent us. Edit. I have now been temporarily banned and possibly permanently banned, depending on how they react to my message after my temp ban. It was nice knowing you guys. Edit. They have now deleted the posts I made. Discriminatory talk simply because I didn't know that the moderator was trans. All I said was I don't allow him to embarrass us all. Abusive mods are no different from our abusive employers. Edit. Because I can make edits still. I am not a brigader. Even a few months ago, I made a post on here that got me over 500 likes venting about my job. You can still see it on my account if you choose to do so. Just because we call out abusive mod behavior doesn't automatically mean we're brigading. Ironic for you to get banned. It's almost as if they're becoming what we are fighting. Okay, I'm sorry, but they're mods, okay? They're not like employers, okay? They're just mods. They're not like people who can take your healthcare away. I'm sorry. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. It makes sense, honestly. Do you expect someone who works part-time as a dog walker to have a good understanding of terrible managers and work culture? I'd say that someone in that position is wholly unsuitable to be a mod here, let alone represent the movement in an interview. I would say the first part is a little silly. The second part, representing them in an interview, is, I understand that. Totally agree. The sub is a sinking ship. Head over to r/work reform, which is undoubtedly better name for the movement. This sub needs new mods. And edit join r/work form, replied to the wrong comment, lol. So you just keep banning everybody who just criticizes them. You just keep going and going and going and going and going. Wait, this is the person, abolish work. This is the person in question who did the interview. I said try, didn't I? I gave it my best shot. If folks don't like it, that's fine. I have no plans to do anything like this anytime soon. I am very clumsy, makes sense, take care. You as well. People being able to ban each other makes no sense from a system stance, lol. Hierarchy doesn't matter as much if there's no coercion involved. No one is forced you to comment or be transphobic. You don't understand anarchism, and your definition isn't even halfway accurate. Not a man, but appreciate that. Have a good night. Not for transphobic users. I'm not a very angry... By the way, if they're getting any transphobia, obviously that's terrible. I'm not a very angry person. I'm sorry that I can't be what... Okay, let me just say, number one, I think the main issue here is that they did the interview, wasn't prepared for the interview, and they made the movement look bad. I don't think this person's Hitler, okay? Or like comparable to an employer. But they also gotta just take it on the chin that they did a terrible interview that made the movement look bad on primetime television. Primetime. I'm not a very angry person. I'm sorry that I can't be what you want. I have to get some rest, take care. I've said elsewhere I could have done better. I just think some folks aren't good at criticism in constructive ways is the difference. I'm not moving anywhere. Nah. Anarchism isn't chaos, so you shouldn't be taking the definition seriously. Anarchism is solidarity, Okay, so this person is doing everything they can to defend themselves in the replies. Fucking everything. I'm worried that anyone who thought having that mod do the interview was a good idea. It's baffling and tone deaf beyond belief. No one should have talked to Fox News. In fact, the only proper response is to point out how they're a tool of anti-democratic, authoritarian, extremist political party and are not a legitimate news source. It's too late. It doesn't matter what this movement believes. A mod star tries to get some limelight and did whatever he/she wanted. Agreed. I didn't watch it. I just remember people telling the mod, don't do it. Wait, people told the mod not to do it. If that's the case, can somebody send me evidence of that? If they were told not to do it and they still did it, then basically all my sympathy outside of transphobia is gone. Because them doing it after being agreed to and it just goes badly, then I'm like, okay, well, that's like a complete mod team mistake. Look at the mod conversation, it's there. Somebody send me a direct link. I've already said that I could have done better. So that's my accountability right there. And they can't just do group interviews. It would have always just been one person, but then somebody else should have done it. We have a whole section. There were posts on the subreddit about media people reaching out to members on the Antiwork subreddit and not talking to them. There's a mod answering questions. Holy shit, dude, this is massive. I'm not an open book, but I answer some questions as best as I can. Edit. All right, I've answered as many questions as I can. Okay. Step down. We don't want you. We don't like you. It's not because you're trans. I'm an ally. I respect your identity. But I don't respect your behavior since the interview. I don't respect how you've been made a laughingstock out of the anti-work community. I don't respect how you failed to communicate any of the philosophies the subreddit represents. You made a mistake that is big enough that you need to step down. If you care about the future of the movement, you need to step down. Not gonna happen. Your actions are fully admitting that you care more about your status as a mod than you do the community you moderate. We don't like you. We don't want you. Step down. I'm not into this to be liked. If I was, I wouldn't be doing politics. What are you into this for? Because it's clearly not in the interest of the community. You want to remain a moderator. So if you were into it because of the movement, you'd step down, right? So what is the reason you're being so thick-headed about this? And don't delude yourself. You're not doing politics. You're a moderator of subreddit. And a dog walker. We've been declining interviews before Fox, some small, but other larger too. I just want to see that they discuss this interview in particular. I see you keep talking about the sexual assault part, and we're going to get to that, I assume. But I just want to confirm this before we move on. I can't find it. It has to be, what the fuck is that? Jesus! Look at this. One second. I gotta use some music. Look how much, dude, I can't imagine. One second. I couldn't imagine being this active in a Reddit, okay? Just keeps going. It's not stopping. It's only speeding up. Okay, look, I'm sorry, but holy shit. I couldn't imagine being this invested in a Reddit page. And again, I'm a streamer, so. The definition of an unjust hierarchy. The subreddit even had a vote to not do interviews specifically because people were afraid shit like this would happen. If this is the case, which I'm trying to get direct confirmation of, then there's literally zero excuse and this person deserves all the heat they're getting. Wait, here it is. Okay, everyone. So we agreed to ignore Fox's request. We'll just sit tight and keep the sub growing. No need to rock the boat here. We got steady growth and our metrics are up 33.33% within the past month. Just need to keep up the momentum. Shit, man. Okay, here's some questions directly to the mod about this. Okay, let's get it. Directly to one of the mods. First off, thanks for answering these. I'm surprised you hopped in the fire, but I've got a few. Number one, did you vote for Doreen? Is it true it was unanimous? And do you really think the best representation of 1.6 million people was a 20-hour-a-week dog walker? Why did you go against the community and go through with this interview? Do you think you took your role as moderator too far? If so, do you think the community should have a way of voting folks like you out if you don't meet expectations? And finally, what next? Number one, I personally thought it was something she could handle. That turned out to be poor judgment. We're still mystified about the thread. The community voted against the interview. By all means, a link would be helpful. Do I think I took my role too far? Honestly, the opposite. I likely personally could have done more. As a team, I say basically the same. As for voting us out, that's possible, but can't say if that will happen. Next? Man, that's a good question. Hopefully everything is positive and helpful. And then they're asking for a link, but now I understand why I can't find a link. Someone just fucking smacked me in the face with it. I'm a fucking dumbass. How do you expect anyone to link you a thread to a subreddit that's gone private? Of course I can fucking find a link.
Occurred is occurred.
What am I doing? What was I asking you guys for? Of course you guys can't give me shit. The subreddit's private. Of course I couldn't find it. A dumbass. But we found quotes. And it seems that everybody seems to agree that that did happen, including their own moderators. So they vote against it. Then they do it. And then they send the 20-hour-a-week dog walker to be the person to represent 1.6 million people. On Fox News, well, you know, a platform like Fox News is going to weaponize everything they can against you, especially if you fulfill their stereotype. And this person fulfilled every single stereotype of a left-winger you could possibly think of. And then they went on there and said fucking laziness is a virtue. My God. Dude, this shit is wild, unironically. I don't even know what to say about all this. I just thought it was a cringe interview and they're getting ratioed, and so that's why it's privated. Abolish Work sleeps on his job of taking care of dogs and punishes the dogs by not giving them water. Why even attempt to scratch this out if it's so obvious who it is? Why even fucking attempt? Wow, great work there. I'll never figure out who this was. So I've basically getting paid to sleep for months now at my job, and they made this post publicly on the Antiwork subreddit. I'm basically getting paid to sleep for months now at my job, working overnight shift with dogs, but I make sure they have water and get up to go out before I go to sleep. I then wake up 3 to 4 hours later and take them out again, refill their water, etc. If there are any problems, I'll separate the dogs.
bird is a
Typically, I
bird.
catch things when I'm awake. Last night, however, a dog destroyed one of the doors. Really just a bad paint job as far as I could tell from the pic. And my manager discovered that this happened because I was asleep through the cameras. Of course, that's nonsense. I would not have been able to stop the dog from doing that to the door, even if I had been awake. I mean, buddy, if the dog does something while you're asleep, and then they check the cameras and you're asleep, I find it very difficult, very, very hard to believe that you couldn't have done anything to stop the dog. The dog was probably upset because I separated him from the other dogs because he kept knocking over their water bowls. I believe at one point got aggressive, though I'm not sure. In any case, I didn't give him water in the new room because he always does. No, you gotta give him water. There's also what bit me in the ass. I should have done it, but I barely thought to, honestly. Here's my question. What should I do? I'm doing what I'm doing. Take micro naps and do walkthroughs. Stay up all night. It's your job. So you stay up and do your job. This is literally the worst possible person they could have chosen to represent the movement. 10 hours, actually? What do you mean? 20 hours is too much? Bro, it's a radical movement because people work 40 hours a week and some beat their bodies up with physical labor, only to scrape up and get mistreated. The problem isn't I have to work 40 hours, it's I'm broke after working so much. What you're explaining is actual laziness. It's not anti-work. I'm pretty sure 90% of the sub just wants a good job with a set of morals. But you're over here talking about how you work too much when you don't even work. Edit. Still mind blowing how someone who thinks 4 to 5 hour shifts is a lot of work and a head mod of a workers' rights sub. Every single thing this person just said is 100% true. I walk almost 2 hours every day, 5 days a week. This isn't oppression Olympic. They walk 2 hours. Oh my God. It's like the fucking gulags. How is this allowed in a modern civilized society? It's basically a fucking gulag. Somebody needs to put a stop to this injustice. This person is unironically just fucking lazy. So you get one of the largest left-leaning subreddits that's exploding recently due to the amount of people who are quitting from jobs and gaining a certain level of class consciousness. They put them in the interview and they have one of the most embarrassing interviews I've ever seen. And they say that 2 hours a day of walking out of only 5 days in the week. This person isn't fucking revolutionary communist. This person isn't revolutionary anarchist. I don't give a fuck. This isn't socialism. This isn't for workers' rights. This right here is literally just laziness. And you want to know what the sad thing is? This person that represented 1.6 million workers and possibly a few hundred dog walkers, okay, went on Fox News and did nothing but embarrass the entire subreddit and embarrass working people trying to struggle for like a better system. And I know 50% of the working subreddit, right? At least 50% of it, the anti-work subreddit is just fake posts. And I understand that. They're just like people LARPing because they like the power fantasy they get of telling their boss to suck it, right? But there was a lot of people who also genuinely cared, I assume, within that community. So this is completely secondary to everything we talked about, but it's already spread around enough. So I guess like I should, if it's already out there, I guess I should cover it. So the same person who again is the representative of 1.6 million people after the subreddit voted against doing it, by the way, it gets worse. Hey, you. Yes, you right there. You. I am starting a Patreon. I know you guys have been asking for it on the YouTube crowd for a while, since usually it's just the Twitch people who could support me financially directly, but we're finally making a means for you guys to do so as well. And that's not all. You can support the #1 cyber terrorist, mover and shaker, Vince McMahon of Twitch politics. How? By donating to this Patreon and getting benefits like movie nights, special Discord roles, announcements at the end of the video of how much you have supported this war criminal Dylan Burns TV, and much, much more. Okay, not much more, okay? I only have limited means, but more than that, I can assure you. And if you support the Patreon, you will have my deep-hearted appreciation from the bottoms of my soul that you are truly a mover and shaker. Thanks so much for your Patreon money in advance. I will use it to continue to fund the liberal elitist agenda. Rhizome, are you still out there? I'm gonna call him, whether he likes it or not. Hey, how's it going? That's a lot of narcotics you're moving out of the way.
Okay, hello.
Oh, Heem wants to be added. Oh, I'm adding Heem now.
Bring him on in. Bring in our boy Heem.
Hey, Heem, how's it going? Heem,
He also didn't have his mic connected.
he doesn't. If he doesn't talk in the next 10 seconds, he hates the gay community. 10,
Oh, Heem?
9.
Oh, shit.
Yo, what's up?
Hey,
I love
there,
the gay community.
there it
How's it
is.
going?
There it is.
How my gays doing out there?
Like, how do you make an adequate living to put in a roof over your head? I don't know if this person lives alone or not, but like, out of 25 hours of dog walking.
Honestly,
like,
that's
Yo,
the
dog
biggest
walking
achievement.
Nah, you guys are tripping. Dog walking can make decent money because sometimes these guys are.
We're gonna
they
talk
carrying,
about
like,
their dog
these
walking career, by the way.
Because sometimes people, motherfuckers are carrying like 10 dogs, bro, and each of them are getting paid. I don't know.
oh,
like,
so they
per
min-max.
dog.
I get it.
Yeah. They're doing all right. I think there is a lot to be said about like, listen, as someone who like was born not in North America, the North American grind is different, man. Like it's different to anywhere else in the world, man. Like I don't know. It's full speed all the time and shit. And I think there is something to be said that like maybe there's a little bit of balance that's missing here between just like enjoying life a little bit or, you know, doing things for ourselves or seeing family and shit
No
like that.
shit,
in North
but we would
America.
never call somebody desiring those things due to a complete lack. Like they want to be lazy, right? Like
No, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, like this level of like there is criticisms to be had of the work culture in North America. I just feel like this person obviously is missing the whole point. Like this person probably lacks ambition. You know, it seems like I don't know.
they are
don't really
literally
have
anti
goals and stuff.
in and of itself. They are not like anti the workforce, the system that we have to pay people and, you know, get paid for our labor.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like they think that the workers' movement is for them, where that's not really being part of a workers' movement. That's them being interested in making it so they don't have to work. That's totally different. People are sending me stuff, and I'm just trying to double check it's true because they've also sent me, and this would make it even 10 times worse. I don't even know how to start here, but like links to them like possibly admitting to like rape on their Facebook.
This mod?
Yes.
What?
All of
Oh
it.
no! Why does it always have to be that kind of shit now? Oh my god!
1 second. Somebody just sent me a link on why the screenshots are genuine. I just want to make sure they're genuine before I like read them because I gotta be careful.
I just don't know. Can't we have a good political discussion anymore without somebody being a rapist or a pedophile? Like that's what I'm hoping for.
Normal
right?
theory let down again.
Normal theory has failed again. If all these people just abide by normal theory, maybe they would have. Maybe this would have gone the right way. This wouldn't have gone in this terrible way.
Bro, and who's your number one example for normal theory working?
You, him, of course.
Exactly. And this is what, many years ago or something, or literally from yesterday?
It's from before everything went down. It's not great though. The person accusing me of silver rape and I were involved in sexual conduct. The scenario involved alcohol on their part, but I had been informed multiple times that it wasn't a big deal. They said they were only tipsy. And that they were consenting to what was happening. I took them at the word, and I will be more responsible in the future when it comes to alcohol and sex. I'm unaware of who I've allegedly raped besides the person making the accusation. The only person I can think of is a private partner. I'll put the details in the comments. I take consent very seriously. I have a list of behaviors relating to cuddling that I've been using for over a year. I've tried my best to be...
what does that mean?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
They have like a list in their head of like, okay, you can touch the pelvis, but not for more than 20 seconds. Like, what are these rules?
Lastly, the previously mentioned coping mechanism resulted in this person creating alarms for us so we wouldn't fall asleep together, and thus boundary violations would be minimized. Much of my retrospective discussed my depression for emotional intimacy led me to shut off the alarms at various points. When I learned how much these harms this person, I soon after went to therapy. Thereafter, I was better able to cope with my impulsive tendencies and thus consistently respect their boundaries. Resulting from my remorse, I made a financial contribution to an organization dedicated to helping people in alternative but abusive relationships. They go on and on and on about this for a while, right? Anyone who knows who this is advised against contacting this person. The individual had past trauma from previous relationships that caused emotional and physical distance between us over the course of months. This led to my needs going unmet, which led to masturbation as an unhealthy coping mechanism. After months of trying to keep myself in check, I began sporadically masturbating while they slept next to me or by themselves.
Oh.
Even though they stated this made them feel uncomfortable, these events continued to happen until I sought help through therapy. I had woken up one morning with them laying next to me, remembering they felt uncomfortable with me masturbating next to them while they slept. I placed their hand over my boxers. They moved their hand away, and I thought nothing at what happened. Fell back asleep. They later woke up and mentioned to me they had a nightmare involving the series of events. I admitted that it had happened, apologized, and explained that I was half asleep and was not in full control of my actions.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whatever the fuck that means. So
I mean, it's bullshit.
this is not directly like related to like anti-work or anything like that.
So the thing is, like, I don't know that like this. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. I don't know that should inform like how we feel about their Fox News appearance, because like they were appearing in like the capacity of a role that they play for this Reddit, and like I think that they just served as a bad advocate for the Reddit. And I don't think like, what if they did a great job and that was who they sent over?
But the thing is,
do you just think it matters in the minds of the conservatives or like something like that?
The problem for me is that the more this blows up, this type of stuff always seems to come forward if you have somebody that hasn't been properly like vetted. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, that's true.
And so if you're going to have somebody go on one of the largest news platforms on the planet, right? And speak about your movement of 1.6 million people, and I say movement, but I mean, subreddit. You should probably do some vetting.
Yeah, of who's going to be advocating for you guys. Yeah. I mean, that's a good recommendation. It's just like whether or not communities are like capable of assessing that situation at the time of, I think, is like a different question, right?
Well, it seemed that the community was against them even going on Fox News. They voted against it.
Right. True. Yeah. True.
Yo, are you in the subreddit, Dylan?
Well, no, it's.
I just want to know what kind of posts like.
I actually think I might have. Actually, 1 second. I think I might have joined beforehand. Well, nope, I can't get in there.
I just wonder like what kind of content, like what are their top posts of all time?
I'm sure it's laziness is poggers, Heems.
Well, I can tell you what it's like.
Heems by mistake. My friend.
That feeling when you hit the snooze alarm for the 20th time.
Yeah, like that's what you're imagining. Like
a lot of it is like people be like, "Hey guys, so I had to deal with this terrible thing at work today," and they just vent and like, cool, right?
Yeah.
A lot of other ones are like, "Hey, I finally quit my terrible job and I'm going to pursue this." It's like dope, and so a decent amount of those are that. Of course, there's some cringe posts. It's a Reddit, but I would say the biggest thing that kind of turned me off of it is that. Like half of the stories that I would read about people like, so I walked up to my boss and I said, "Hey boss, suck these." And then he said, "That's always what I wanted you to say. And now I respect you." Like, it's like very like obviously made up stories, you know? I would call it more r/anti-work fan fiction than I would call it
fan fiction. Exactly. And the problem there is like, then you encourage people to do the real thing too.
Yeah. But I would say that like, mostly though, even though I think that was a problem, it was mostly fine, and I would even say it was a good thing, because I think people like being generally made aware of like, hey, bad working conditions, having a place to vet and talk to other workers, and be made aware that like what's happening at their workplace is not okay. They don't deserve to be treated like that is good. I just I just think that sometimes the LARPy stuff kind of made me cringe, and
it's a form of like decentralized like not unionizing, but like labor education. I don't know, what would you call it? Like. You're like getting people to like understand their circumstances as a worker in this country without having like a centralized body to it.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
What?
I don't understand. Why did you give me this empty poetry book? I thought I was going to be mining coal after the revolution. Well, that's the story of r/anti-work. What do you guys think?
I agree with you in a lot of ways. Like, I think that that's a great space to have. It really sucks that this is the person who went up to represent it and gives the right the opportunity to meme all over it. But at the same time, did it push us backwards any? I doubt it, because I feel like most people already hold that sort of bias and they're just playing to the boomers in their audience anyways, you know?
I would say, if anything, it basically just caused like a mini civil war against the moderators and the commenters in a subreddit. That's the main thing it did, and it just made them look silly. Generally, for me, I guess the concern is like, could you imagine, like, you have somebody go on like a thing, and then you're like, anyway, that was a nice interview. Anyway, here's some Facebook posts where they admit to no sexual assault. Anyway, have a nice day, everybody. Like, fuck. Like, holy shit.
No, listen, it's here's my take. This is losing the subreddit is not going to be a loss to society. There you go.
Damn. You hear that, chat? Heem is anti-work.
I'm sure all these people have like Discords and shit too, where they do this type of thing. So like the idea of like this being a unique space that doesn't, have any other presence on the internet, I bet there's a lot of this. Yeah,
I guess they got so many people in one place. You know what I mean? And it got some like notoriety, not notoriety, but it got some like not like people knew what it was,
infamy,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Is infamy is infamy really the right word?
If it garnered a reputation, yeah.
Well, thank you both for coming on. I just needed somebody else to tell me I wasn't crazy. Okay? So thank you for telling me I'm not crazy.
Do you feel crazy still?
I feel crazy because I'm politically associated with these people still. They have released a statement. I will also say that a splinter group has formed because a lot of people who are criticizing the Antiwork subreddit were getting banned or banned or timed out or whatever you would call it. I don't use Reddit that much. Those people formed a splinter group where they say, hey, we don't have such authoritarian mods over at this group. This is our new Reddit, and it's r/work reform. And so that's where we're at the moment. And so now they've released a statement, and so I want to read the statement. See how it goes. Because looking at many of these awards, like Table Flip, Table Slap, Are You Serious Award, Hee Award, Pranked Award, F. You got a few. You got like Helpful and I think 2 Reddit Golds, okay? But let's read it. We will now focus on more transparency regarding media. We're going in the short-term future, not accept any media interviews. We will ask the community on feedback regarding whether we will accept an interview or what kind of media outlets are outright banned. This Reddit user in general was reading feedback and was setting up Antiwork Media, a counter platform for Antiwork, so that we have our own media. However, the project was not started to begin with. Reddit user just started the subreddit and sort of forgot about it later. As in the internal chat, other things unrelated were discussed at the time. The Reddit user was a new moderator, so the Reddit user did not want to make severe decisions to continue the spirit, and the project was abandoned the same time the subreddit was created. Reddit user thought the name, however, should be reserved at the very least, so the Reddit user did not delete the Antiwork Media subreddit. At the time, when we were closed a few hours, we were asked by media outlet Bloomberg for a statement. However, we deemed it was inappropriate considering the incident, so this was left unanswered. So the media is like being like, hey, you want to talk about closing down? And they're like, look, I think we've had enough interaction with the media for one day. 1 hour before the planned reopening, a representative from the media outlet Business Insider contacted us regarding the enclosure. We chose not to answer. The volunteers that so far were interviewed by other media outlets had good experiences and weren't presented or set up in bad faith. One such example can be the recent BBC article about us found here. Who's this Reddit user? Why did he do interviews? Hello, I'm a 21-year-old male, long-term unemployed, and an anarchist. I've been surfing the subreddit since 2020. It helped me in my journey when I began to be unemployed. When I began to read the subreddit, I was a leftist liberal, namely a social democrat. I've been reading some of the recommended literature from the library since then, for example, Bob Black's Abolition of Work, and I've been radicalized to an anarchist. I was randomly invited by a former mod that quit 1 week ago, namely, one day it will be Daisy. And after thinking for some time about it, accepted it. I'm aware that this movement is fluid. There are people with all kinds of ideologies, and I've been trying to say exactly that in written interview of the New York Times. I've said that I merely see myself. This isn't answering any of the questions anyone has. How did this person do the interview? Why did this person do the interview? Are they going to be removed from mod? Why were people getting timed out and banned for criticizing the subreddit? Okay, maybe I'll just keep reading. Maybe they're going to get to all the stuff that people are curious. This is another anti-worker Just as you are reading this, from now I will personally plan to not do interviews in the short-term future. I'm open to feedback regarding that. I'm going as long as nothing other is planned to be the new librarian of the Antiworks library. I've always tried to listen to feedback, especially from people that are the longest active in the subreddit. I've been trying to implement some and failed in some. For example, it was suggested by a user to make an anti-work counter media, namely that we are doing our own sort of media to counter any wrong messages by news outlets. However, this was too big project to take on for me alone, and I didn't told others about the subreddit I created because back then I was still too new and didn't want to make any big changes. Like I said, I'm very passionate to keep the r/anti-work spirit and movement alive, and I've been personally investing more than 10 hours moderating the subreddit in the last 2 days. The point of sleep deprivation. I could not imagine caring that much about a subreddit, but also I'm a Twitch streamer, so can't really say that. I'll be taking care of that after today by having a good night's sleep, and I hope you continue to enjoy your stay in r/antiwork. Thank you. Okay. So I guess this answers some media inquiries, as in we're not doing any in the near future, but it doesn't answer like how this happened, any of that stuff. Or like who will be doing interviews in the future, how do you pick who's going to do the interviews, anything like that. Crowd control. To counter the wave of brigaders, we currently have submissions and comments strict crowd control. We are currently looking for how things work out and trying to reduce the level as soon as it's comfortable to do so. Okay, I hope they acknowledge not everyone is just brigaders, but actual community members. And you can know that from the fact that a separate subreddit has splintered off, and there were people who were long-term community members that were banned. For newcomers, we hope you enjoy your stay, but be patient as we're trying to slowly start up the subreddit again. Reddit users said that the vast majority they banned were brigaders, the majority of them from one particular subreddit. Any person that was not a brigader should try appealing to apply for an unban if they haven't done so, but we are going through the same security checks. If they have to remove their comments, for example, it would be harder to make sure they were participating in good faith, so we recommend you don't delete your comments until the ban appeal has been answered. Okay, so they're not answering for the banning of people who didn't deserve to be banned. They're just saying you can apply for an unban. Okay. Before the Fox News incident went out, we were planning to strictly to a sticky submission about searching for new mods. Due to a few mods quitting, we are definitely going to search for new mods in the near future. When things went well, we temporarily added some moderators from the mod reserve that we asked a few radical questions about social justice movements in general and the biggest issue in their country beforehand, so that we can select appropriate moderators. Wait, what the fuck are the okay, I'm sorry, just the way they framed this. What was the question? What is a radical questions? Like is that just like, hey, are you an anti-racist or something? Or is it like, what's your view on like Kropotkin's view of the history of what did they mean? Like, radical, it's a cool question, dude. Do you think social justice is gnarly, dude? Okay. Now we're at the actual thing that people care about and the whole reason this is happening. The Fox News incident or incidents. Regarding abolish work, this is the Reddit user in question who did the interview. We are planning to remove her from moderation duties and have contacted the admins for the removal of her as mod. We thank her for building up the anti-work movement, but regarding the past incidents, we decided as a majority to remove her. Okay, there you go. That's a positive thing. There you go. They did a good. Hopefully, though, this vote will actually be respected. Timeline of the Fox News incidents. Day 1. We got an interview from a Fox News reporter working for the Fox News reporter. Okay, I'm sorry. A lot of this is really hard to read. Maybe the person who wrote this, like English isn't the first language. Those who were aware of the interview beforehand advised against it. Day 1 continues. We talked about putting up a sticky for mods searching soon and highlighted events in the mod mail, such as this transcriber team that are volunteering to transcribe images in all kinds of subreddits, wanting to make sure a sticky and introduce themselves. You can't expect anti-work to work on a document. Damn, man. We can't, hey, no bully, okay? 2 interviews have been declined instead of doing Fox News. Shortly before the Fox News interview happened, the mod team were made aware by Abolish Work. The following media outlets were declined: TV Tokyo and Bloomberg. Bloomberg, or abolish work, had a conflicting schedule, which is why Bloomberg was declined. She said at the same time, she had an interview at 9:48 p.m., and as far as this Reddit member can remember, 1 hour prior to abolish work, wanted to prepare for the interview, such as taking a shower. Wait, so they agreed against doing the interview. The moderating day of the Fox News incident. We're about 10 mods active at the time, and most of them were working more than 8 hours through the mod queue, subreddit in general, trying to not let the subreddit get closed. Okay, so here's a question. So it looks like, so they say they advised against it. I'm sorry, this is so hard to read. As far as I know, like people advised against it and they like said, let's not do it, right? But I can't, like, this is so incomprehensible. I can't understand. Like, are they confirming that was the case or not? It's hard to read this. 2 interviews have been declined instead of doing Fox News. Shortly before the Fox News interview happened, the mod team was made aware of by, I assume made aware of it by Abolish Work. The following media outlets were declined: TV Tokyo and Bloomberg. Bloomberg, or Abolish Work, had a conflicted schedule, which is why Bloomberg was declined. She said at the same time she had an interview at 9:48 p.m. As far as Kamikaze can remember, 1 hour before Abolish Work wanted to prepare for the interview, such as taking a shower. I don't understand why this document feels like it's not been proofread at all. I don't think it has been proofread at all. I don't understand how they have the eyes of everyone on them, and then they release like this like terrible rough draft. The moderating day of the Fox News incidents. We were about 10 mods active at the time, and most of them were working more than 8 hours through the mod queue and the subreddit in general, trying to not let the subreddit get closed. Kamikaze personally also wrote the FAQ, asked for feedback, and was several times declined to post it. But as we were looking what we could do, the FAQ was posted. However, as we had no crowd control at that point, we knew that some brigaders were still controlling the misinformation, such as that we had a vote in the community. Okay, so this isn't true. So they're saying this isn't true. We knew that some brigaders were still controlling the misinformation. This is so hard to fuck. Well, maybe there's so much misinformation because you can't type out clear sentences. Fuck. We knew that some brigaders were still controlling the misinformation, such as that we had a vote in the community that we no longer would do media interviews. Okay, so no longer do media interviews. But was there a vote on the Fox News interview? This is false information. Another subreddit did that, and it was related to a finance topic. We were actively messaging the admins at this point and made crowd control active ETA 2 hours before closing. After half an hour before closing, we got a mail from one of the admins suggesting we put crowd control on, especially the submission crowd control they announced 2 days ago, which at the time was not implemented. Frustrating as mocking pictures of abolished work went around and the submission brigading per minute kept increasing, we had no other way out but to close the subreddit. We had at that point of time no clear information on how many exact submissions were done by community members. However, as far as Kim Kazi can remember, with the checked history, the long active community members were actively discussing in the bigger threads. We tried allowing discussions, but as every bigger community does earlier when the brigading was not on full speed, we tried reducing the mod actions required by locking bigger threads that had already a lot of rule-breaking comments. We want to sincerely apologize for any active community member unable to discuss it, but as clarified before, we had no intentions to censor or ban members of r/Antiwork. But that did happen though. There's multiple threads proving it of people just criticizing you guys, but you guys timed them out or banned them. At this point, we had no information about the rumors. After the lock, outside the subreddit, we were also made aware of a few other misinformation, such as Abolish Work supposedly writing in another subreddit, or that a moderator supposedly were applying to a new subreddit. But these were fake. Well, there is a new subreddit. I don't know if moderators were applying to that though. Vish, thanks for gifting to tier 1. But these were fake and trying to increase the fuel of the witch hunt. So this is weird because I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but I have seen a bunch of active community members say, fuck this, I'm going to do a new thing. Instead of doing this Abolish Work page, we're going to do a new thing called Reform Work. And they made a splint off. But these were fake and trying to increase the fuel of the witch hunt. We reported this to the admins, but actions were done late, and some, but not all reported things, have been removed yet. Dude, this is a terrible response. The only good part of this response is that Abolish Work has been removed, but they didn't, like, proofread this, obviously, and there's a million misspellings that make it hard to comprehend, which makes it hard for them to clear up this misinformation they're talking about because I'm not understanding it. They're like touching one point, but there's a bunch of questions not touched where they'll say like, hey, we heard that moderators are going to a new subreddit. That isn't true. Okay. What about all the community members that have left for the Reform Work subreddit, which is a very, very real subreddit that was made because your active community members were angry about what happened here. On the day of the brigading, we also noticed severe ban evasion. We also reported this to the admins, but due to the sheer amount of brigading, we were unable to report the exact accounts, and so it is unknown if actions were done. In general, meanwhile, it is welcome that the community organized in the time outside the community. We are uncomfortable with some information we got, but about that, and Kamikaze personally recommends the community to not fall for opportunists. We would appreciate if normal operation subreddit would slowly start again, but keeping discussion in a big through threads. However, we cannot control what you do. Depending on the feedback, we'll see what we can do, like stickers, Reddit talk about in the near future, etc. Alleged sexual assault. Okay. Oh boy. I don't know how I feel about this incident being talked about. Meanwhile, we don't know enough to feel comfortable about making a statement. The individual in question has been removed from the moderation team by collective decision. We are waiting on the admin removing her officially. We would be glad if you would stop the witch hunt surrounding the moderator team. A few moderators have quit already due to personal reasons affected by them receiving harassment. The majority of the moderators are still active, and as mentioned before, we're going to look for new moderators, preferable people staying in community. Thank you. Okay, so this is a non-answer, right? And I doubt they're ever going to make a statement about this. So to be clear, fuck. Okay, so number one, here's all the problems with this piss poor response. Let's go through them. First well, actually, let's go through the good parts of this response first. Okay, let's give it credit. Number one, they removed the mod in question. Great, that's wonderful. Okay, now that we're done with all the positives of this response, let's talk about all the negatives. There's no way in hell at any point this shit was proofread, okay? I have seen like second and third graders who have better reading comprehension and like typing skills than whoever the fuck put this together. I refuse to believe that this was proofread at any point. This must have been like everybody is like swamped, or they can't do it, or they don't want to do it, or they don't want to be involved in the big response. And so one person sat down and typed it out and put it out in one go. If this person did reread it, then there's actually legitimate reading comprehension problems that this person has, and I don't even know why they're doing Reddit, okay? Read this shit. Half of this is incomprehensible and I can't understand it. That's the first problem. Proofreading is work, Dylan, which is against their beliefs. Okay, so that's the first problem, okay? Second problem, there's a bunch of questions left unanswered. For example, a big thing that I even saw a lot of active community members proposing was, hey, we're unhappy with a lot of the bans we're receiving right now. We're unhappy with the way a lot of the moderators are responding to this. We're very unhappy about abolish work right now, going into threads, fighting everyone, saying, I'll never secede. I'll never be banned. I'll never do this. I'll never do that. You'll never get me to quit. And so they were talking about voting for moderators. That question was never answered, whether that's going to happen. Number two, while they give a process for people to apply for unbans, they don't acknowledge the fact that a lot of the people they banned, or apologize for this, were active community members just criticizing them, and that they were basically just machine gun spraying anybody who had anything negative to say about the fucking subreddit. So that's a huge problem here. Gonna be honest, I don't know. I guess this is a responsible thing to do. This thing right here, right? This is still a question left in the air. So this is still completely unanswered by them. Because again, if they put somebody on Fox News, not only has a history of sexual assault, but also has a history of fucking sleeping on the job, only working 20 hours a week and everything else, why did they allow this person, who's one of the worst representatives you could possibly think of a working class person, to be the representative? There's a lot of stuff about like, was there a vote on whether they would do it? They say that they advised against it, but they go into no more detail about like, was it just like, hey, we advised against it and that's it, but then they went across it anyway? It's like, so we advised against it on day one. Then the interview happened. It's like, what the fuck is that jump? There's something in the middle here. And if any of you have found it, or if any of you think, okay, I get it, guys, it takes work, I get the meme. You've done the meme like 20 times in chat now. I understand it. But this shit, I can't understand any of this shit. My editor, when they look over this footage, they're gonna be like trying to go along with me like, what the fuck is Dylan saying? And they're gonna think I'm just fucked, okay? It's not me, it's this, okay? You give someone a bad script, you can't blame the actor, okay? Oh my God, is this actually it? Is this actually it? Oh my God. Dude, no, fuck that. Do you see how many members they have? 438,000. They picked that shit up in like 3 days. That's much faster than any growth that r/Antiwork has experienced ever. Holy fucking shit. To be clear, it took a while for Antiwork to get the majority of its base, to grow as big as it's gotten. This shit happened in 3 days. Wait, somebody says it was created on... Wait, no. I'm a dumbass. I said it was done in 3 days. I'm wrong. This was created yesterday. This was created yesterday. Today, it is the 27th. This was created on the 26th. They got 440,000 members in 1 day. I'm wrong. That is an incomprehensible amount of Reddit users to get in 1 day. 500,000 Reddit users in 1 day. But the fact that they're basically at the same amount that they started with shows that a lot of people came and joined just to stir shit, just to make posts and meme on them and leave, like the Brigaders are talking about, while a decent size of its like experienced like members left, as well as people who just think that this is funny as fuck, so also join this. More drama in the last 2 minutes, literally? Really? r/work reform. Oh my goodness. Hey everyone. I know this might disappoint some of y'all, but I've decided to give up moderation. This shit is too stressful. I've had to call work and take some days off, and in return I got absolutely nothing. Moderating the sub has literally cost me money. I don't see how being in this position is going to benefit me in my life ever. When I created r/work reform, I did not expect it to explode to nearly 500,000 members. This shit is ginormous, and I simply do not have the qualifications to keep going at this stage. There's too much to learn in a small time frame that is being forced down my throat by the admins. I spent countless and countless hours trying to filter out posts, comments, and mod mail, blah, 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 blah. Gotta be honest, can I just say, this person has 10 times the honor as that abolished work Redditor, because they were like, oh, I can't do my job effectively? Okay, I quit. Even though in 1 day I've got 500,000 people in my Reddit group, 500,000 people. Well, you know, I guess I'm gonna turn over the staff to somebody else who can actually do this. And he came to that conclusion after 1 day. 1 day. 1 day! Also, thanks to Reddit admins for pressuring me out of this position. I had the intention of appointing moderators democratically, but they pretty much are forcing us to appoint mods today. And I refuse to go against the principles that I promised the community that I'd be doing. Oh, this right here is what I was talking about. Which, by the way, Antiwork refuses to acknowledge is that a lot of the anger around this culminated in a support for democratically elected moderators, which this person in part started this because he wanted that. And now, due to how much it's grown in a short time, if this grew in a slower period of time, then they would, you know, be able to have democracy. They'd be able to have these elected mods. But since they have 500,000 people in like 1 day, like it's too short of a time to like hold elections. We're quite literally seeing the flaws of democracy in an unstable environment playing out in real time. This shit is wild. Let's actually check. Let's see what the top posts on this page is. Look, it's people actually complaining about work and people talking about the chaos in the other one. Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh my God. Dude. They're basically just calling them, dude, this is no different than, you're a Trotskyite. There it is. There's the infighting. There's the Civil War. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. There it is. Work reform is run by hard right bankers and liberal trolls looking to co-opt and destroy our movement. Dude, I'm sorry, but you can't put a gun in your mouth and pull the trigger and then accuse other people of destroying you, okay? That's what they're doing. They're taking like a revolver and just shooting themselves repeatedly in the foot before reloading and then shooting their other foot and saying, look at all these fools on the outside destroying us. Here's the mod that works for the banks. Yeah, I work in a bank taking calls, assisting elderly people who don't understand how their debit card works. So what? I understand everyone's concern, but I'm just a 24-year-old trying to make my way in the universe. I was hired by a bank. It allows me to live. On the side, I do deliveries to be able to pay rent, and also I'm a gamer and stream LOL every week. Does that sound like some executive with an agenda that wants to take control of a populace? All threads attempting to dox the mods will be removed, as this is plain harassment. We don't accept such behavior. Oh my god! This dude's a DoorDash driver trying to destroy like a workers movement? Dude, fuck off. They're just bullying random mods who see the bullshit that they're doing. Dude, this is absolutely bizarre. He's like a DoorDash driver too. Rhizome, there you are. Rhizome, this shit is fucking chaos. The anti-work shit is fucking chaos, dude. Are you like available to talk about this shit? This shit is fucking wild. Other mods who started splinter groups away from the main thing. The main anti-work mods are now doxing the other mods from other things that are trying to break away. They started an actual civil war. Okay, so
this is insane.
I'm sharing the screen right now. Now, this is the statement that was released today after they reopened the subreddit, okay?
Yeah, let's say it.
Okay, can you read it?
Well, right now I'm just seeing a statement. It says, sorry, this post has been removed.
Yep.
So you removed your own
we were
statement
reading it live. Then when in the comments scrolled up and live while we were reading it, they deleted it. So
you got someone in your chat who's saying, why do we care about this? And I think my understanding is we care about this because these people are creating a bad rep for better understanding of workers' situations.
They're making,
and like what's happening with the workforce.
They're making us all look lazy as fuck. That's what they're doing. They're making us all look lazy. And their response made us look even more lazy.
Like, I think the issue here is like, there's huge problems with the way we do work and the way we do employment and the way employees like, are able to like gain autonomy and security through their jobs. And this was supposed to be a subreddit to complain about those things and think about actions to take to remediate those things. But now it's just turned into a toxic cesspool of people who want to like just talk about how awesome it is to dog walk for 5 hours a week and they can't handle anything else.
I like how every time we talk about it, the amount of time they dog walk just goes down.
20 minutes.
Before we know it, it's going to be like, yeah, I have the drone walk them. You know, they're going to be laying down in bed, walking the dog with a fucking drone.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from work reform, I haven't seen much bad from work reform. Maybe I'm missing it, but really? Most of the posts are just like what we saw in the anti-work posts, like normal.
They're being wolves in sheep's clothing right now. You know, they're like, you know what? We'll dress it up. We'll make it look good, and then bam.
Who knows? Who knows? The biggest post on the anti-work subreddit is a petition to shut down the anti-work subreddit.
That took me a second because I was like, wait, did you say the work reform Reddit has got this petition? It's their own. No,
it's their own.
That's what took me a minute to
57.7 thousand upvotes. It has a million awards here. Like, look how many of these
you've
are.
lost if you get to that point.
I feel like the people at the helm of this Reddit should be like union organizers and like people elected by the community if you're claiming it's a movement, and not just dog walkers who will have a lot of free time. Now, the thing that's funny about this post, by the way, work reform is run by hard right bankers and liberal trolls trying to co-opt and destroy a movement. Like, that's a crazy claim, right?
Wow.
This is unironically, you know, the picture, Stalin purged picture, you know what I mean? The this thing right here.
Nah.
So this is a famous picture of Stalin from the purges where he had people edited. He had this person edited out of a picture with him because after they were killed for like being, I guess, not Stalin's best buddy,
being pro Stalin enough. Yeah.
This is what I feel like this is right now. He was a banker. Get rid of him.
Someone says that's Trotsky in chat. Hey, listen, I don't know enough about my socialist memes. Okay.
Is that Trotsky? I have zero clue. I just know he purged a lot of people, and this picture is very famous for it.
Yeah, that's basically my understanding as well.
Like, now I don't even know what to say because not only is the and this is what makes it crazy. Not only is the statement deleted, but the user who made it is also deleted.
Yeah.
So they are gone.
What do you think's gonna come of this? Like, I don't see anything else besides like splinter communities and just this shit goes away.
Well, I think
maybe it doesn't even go
honestly,
away.
Honestly, you want my honest opinion now? I think r/antiwork.
No, I want your fakest opinion, Dylan. Give me your fakest opinion.
My fakest opinion is we're gonna find out that this whole time r/antiwork was run by the ghosts of the Koch brothers.
Okay. Now, what's your most honest opinion?
Okay, my most honest opinion is that r/antiwork grew up, blew up. They also didn't like have the skill to manage this community. They didn't listen to their community. They're still not listening to my community. We're super irresponsible, set the worst representative possible to do this, are now taking zero accountability, and we're gonna watch this Reddit now die a slow death as work reform explodes. Now the question if work reform is going to like continue to grow, I'm sure it's gonna get past 500,000. It's definitely on the path there. I think it's gonna continue to grow. The question is whether this is going to be able to have sustainable growth and like be able to keep the people who joined, because there could be people who just joined just to say fuck you, anti-work, and then like not care anymore. Me walking into this sub on my lunch break to browse some quality content, completely unaware of what's going on. 17,000. There is no labor shortage. Look, there's an actual normal post there.
That's a normal post. Yeah.
There's another normal post. Okay.
Another normal one. That's pretty good.
As a European anti-worker, I don't give a fuck about some Fox News interview. No one will remember in 2 weeks. This is an international movement that involves hundreds of thousands of people that will not implode because of someone was cringe. To be clear, you could say that like nobody really cares or whatever, but then you go and see that the other group, which it took you how long to get to this size as the Antiwork page, the other page already at 500,000 in a day. Like people care.
That's the thing for me too that was weird about that statement was like the opportunists bit, just like throwing shade at them when if they succeeded in their goals of like trying to make a better the serfs.
Well, I guess we know which side the serf stands on.
Exactly. But yeah, if they were successful in their goals, like the work reform movement, wouldn't the anti-work people also be happy with what they were able to do? I just don't see why they would oppose that group forming.
Why is this in the top post of today with 17.9, posted 7 hours ago? But this was posted 8 hours ago and has 57.7, but it's not there. I'm confused. How is that? Can you like do that on Reddit? Can like mods change what's
maybe
on the top post?
Maybe, yeah. Well, if you refresh, is this still there?
Oh my god, they deleted it.
There it is.
Oh my god, they did.
There it is.
They're removing all the posts that's critical of them still. This is the most popular post on the whole fucking subreddit, and it's to shut down the subreddit. Got 1 million awards, and they're just deleting it. They're deleting it live still. My God. So what do you make of all this?
For me, the biggest issue with this is just like, I want more awareness around workers' rights issues. And I feel like when you go on a major platform and you're gaining this much attention, and you have the ability to really put that in the best light possible, and you can't do that on the most basic level, that just fucking sucks. And like, I think you probably aren't somebody who should be behind this quote unquote movement as you see it.
Also, this is a great point. It seems that the vast majority of those in the mod Reddit team seem to be like very young people. And somebody made a comment here and one of the replies, and I think this is a really good comment. I get the general demographics of social media, but in the nicest way possible. I hope you plan on populating the mod team with a mix, including those with more years and experience in the working world as well. 100%.
Maybe in a couple of years we'll have a few more mature people on board with this, right? They're just like baking these ideas in right now while they do their undergrad programs, or they like get their like, they get their slave wage jobs after high school.
Somebody just said in chat, well, while it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism, those that can't imagine it can't seem to imagine the actual steps involved in making that change. That's why I feel work reform is more communicatable to everyday people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't join this sub thinking this is just people who hate fucking work and I hate fucking work. This is people who have like a clear-cut goal from the get-go, like as soon as you hear about it.
God, I just got another 2,000 while we were just talking.
Twitch poll has joined the community. I hope that it's what you say. I hope that we can turn work reform into something meaningful. I hope we can bring awareness to the problems that go around like the labor market and the labor system that we have now. I don't think people should work their entire lives just to be working, or live their entire lives just to continue to work, right? So, yeah, I mean, like, those issues are really important to me, but like messaging is super important, especially when we live in a system that privileges meritocracy and rugged individualism so much. And we think that the harder you work, the like better of a person you are. Like, we really need to consider our optical approach when that's the dynamic.
By the way, look at these posts. These reasonable, connected to reality, touch grassy posts. Look at this. We cannot ignore the fact that the name Antiwork is a PR nightmare that hurts any goals we make to have things better. I hope there is a swift and immediate transition to the sub. Regardless of Antiwork's intention or your views on it, we have to take this seriously. Going in front of the media and uttering the words Antiwork, people who don't know will take it as a face value and dismiss it. This sub's name is absolutely clear. It's something that does not give ammo to the people who would see this awakening and movement as a sham. That's very important if we want to see more real change come our society and government. All I want is a clear and shining light to the public that encapsulates the reality of the fucked up world we live in when it comes to work. That way, when we talk outside the sub, it's taken seriously by more people. I think a sub name like this will help us all. True! Here's a number one. Anti-work was a dumb name anyway. Most people want to work. We just don't want to be exploited. We want reform. We have the power. Never forget that. You can't scare me. I'm sticking to the union, Woody Guthrie. Are they going to release a statement about their statement? I like that, by the way. Are they going to release a statement about their statement? I'm actually curious. Will they? Let's go check one more time. Simpson, can you at least get me an answer to that? Are they going to release a statement about their statement? Can we get an answer to that at least? Is that a possible thing we could get? I'm just curious about that. I just want to know if I'm just like waiting here for no reason. And it seems that they're just deleting literally everything that's critical of them because, yeah, that seems to be what's going on. All right, there we go. There's one that didn't get deleted. I propose this cat to be a new mod. Cat rest when it want. Cat do nice thing to you only if they like you. And cat can never give interview. True.